Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I'm Casey, and today these are the 5 bracelets that I will be making, and I gotta say I am so happy with how they turned out. The majority of the products that I used today for these bracelets came from the bargain bead box for May 2022, and I absolutely love them. Everything that didn't come from the bead box that I used today, I will link below if you would like to look at those items. But yes, definitely the majority of the items did come from this month's bargain bead box. I just think they're absolutely beautiful. I love these lamp work glass beads. I think they're just really a standout for me. Also, from this bead box, these toggle clasps just really lend themselves to be part of the design. I absolutely love these clasps. I think sometimes clasp can be part of the background, more of a functional purpose, and sometimes they can look like this and just be beautiful and be part of the design. All right, so if you would like to see how these bracelets came about, then stay tuned. All right, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to start by very quickly going over the tools that I will be using. So I will start with 2 sets of chain nose pliers. I will be using my set of cutters, and I will also be using my set of crimping pliers. And I mentioned this in a lot of videos. I highly recommend this tool set. I will not be using the round nose pliers today, but of course in the tool set you will get all of them plus a set of scissors and tweezers. I just highly recommend this tool set. It is called the Casual Comfort tool set. It's a little bit more expensive, but if you make jewelry, consistently, it is, in my opinion, it is very worth it. The big thing about this set is that they have adult size grips. They're very sturdy in quality as well. And a lot of times in the store, you will get a size set of tools that are quite a bit smaller. And yes, they definitely function and you could use them, but this, in my opinion, it's made a lot of difference. And like I said, even if you don't get this set, highly recommend investing in your tools, in a good quality set of tools. However, I will link this set below. I will also be using 49 strand bead along wire. I always get it in the 100 feet because I go through it so quickly. I will be using the color Bright, which is a silver color. And I know my finishes are in this copper finish, but you won't even be able to see the wire. And I do want to point out, and I put this broken piece here for a reason. Most of the stuff that I will be using today came from the bead box, the bargain bead box for May. And when I got my opening, I had one that was broken, that came open. And I want to speak out about Bargain Bead Box's customer service because I emailed them and sent them a picture just to let them know that I received one that looked like this. Not a big deal, wasn't upset, just letting them know. And they didn't just send me one replacement, no. They sent me 4. They sent me a complete set of 4 that originally came. They sent me 4 to replace the one broken one that I received, along with other freebies, other beads, a few other beads in addition to this. And it came very quickly. Their response to the email was quick and they shipped it quick. Just very highly recommend Bargain Bead Box. Good quality beads, but their customer service is just phenomenal. Okay, so of course, as you saw from the intro, I will be making several bracelets from the bead box. Everything that did not come from the bead box, I will link below. but let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna start out with a little bit over 12-inch length of wire, so I have enough room to close it on either side. So here is how I start each strand. I'm gonna put on a crimp tube and a jump ring and a guardian wire. Put it through one side, wrap it around, and back through the other. Then you want to make sure your jump ring goes in the guardian wire, just like that, and that your crimp tube has both sides of the wire go through it, like this. All right, so now I'm going to pinch the wire guardian closed with my fingers and pull it down a little bit. And then I want to separate the two wires. All right, pull it a little snug, just like that. And then I'm gonna grab my crimping pliers and go into that second divot. Give it a good smash. So you have that taco shape, flip it on its side. Give it a good smash in that first divot. And then I like to go back in with that flat part on the end and give it the final smash. That way it's nice and secure. So then I hold the jump ring and then I take that crimp cover, place it right on top of that smashed crimp tube, and then flip it up just like that. Then I'm gonna go in with my chain nose pliers, give it a good smash. Want to be gentle, use a gentle hand when you're smashing these crimp tubes. It doesn't take much to overpower them and kind of flatten them where they don't look quite as aesthetically pleasing. And you go front to back, smash them very gently to help give it that round shape. And there you go. Gives that illusion that the crimp cover is the first bead. And that's how I begin each bracelet. So now it's just a matter of the order of the beads. So for this first one, I'm going to be doing a simple back and forth between the green bicones that came in the bead box and spacers that came from my own stash. So we're gonna go bicone, spacer, bicone, spacer. Go down to the other end and make sure that tail is tucked in the spacer and the bicones, just like that. So as you can see, that crimp cover does give an awesome illusion as the first bead with these spacers. So now for this side of the bracelet, we're going to have 10 of these bicones back and forth. So we'll meet back up once I have completed that. All right, so here we have this first side. Like I said, a simple back and forth between the 10 bicones and the spacers. All right, so now here's the middle component. We're going to be using bead caps that I have in my own stash and chevron designed beads that I have in my stash as well. So we have bead cap facing up, chevron bead, bead cap facing down, and then we're gonna have a bicone in between. All right, so just like that, and we're going to repeat this 2 more times. All right, so here we go. Here is the middle component, and now we're going to create this same side over here, and then we will meet back together to close the bracelet. All right, so here is the other side, and here is the final bracelet completely strung. And now we will close it off. So we are going to take a jump ring, a crimp tube, and a wire guardian. So you put it through one side, wrap it around, put it through the other. Make sure the jump ring is inside the wire guardian, and then make sure the crimp tube has both sides of the wire going through it. All right, so I'm gonna hold on to that jump ring inside the wire guardian, pull it a little bit, and I'm gonna have the end of this wire go through a couple of beads. Just like that. And then I'm gonna hold on to the jump ring and pull it all a little snug on the tail. Okay, so I'm gonna pinch that wire guardian closed with my fingers. And you wanna make sure that your bracelet has some flexibility. So you don't wanna pull it super snug where the bracelet gets very rigid. So I wanna keep it where it can, it bends and it can have, like I said, it'll have that flexibility. So you do want it snug, but not too snug. All right, so I'm gonna hold that tail while I'm holding the beads. And then I'm going to go in with my crimping pliers into that second divot and give it a good smash. Get that taco shape, turn it on its side, go into that first divot, give it the next smash, and then go in with the flat part at the end. Give it that final smash so it's nice and secure. Hold on to that jump ring, go in with the crimp cover right over that smashed crimp tube, and then I'm going to flip it and go in with my chain nose pliers. Give it a good smash. And then smash it from front to back. Remember, always go in with a gentle hand. Doesn't take much to smash one of these crimp tubes. And there you go. It gives that illusion of the first bead to go along with the rest of the spacers. So now I'm gonna go in with my cutters, get as close as I can, cut off the tail, and then go in with my nail, smash that little end into the next bead. And there is how you begin and end a bracelet. And it's got a lot of flexibility, so it's not too snug. So now we will put on the clasp. And this is a very quick process. So you'll take both of your chain nose pliers, open the jump ring, put on one end of the toggle clasp, close the jump ring, and do the same thing on the other side. And put on the other side of the toggle clasp. And close that jump ring. All right, so here we go. So here is the first bracelet completed. On to the next one. All right, so for this next bracelet, we are going to be using some of the yellow rock chip beads that came in the bead box. as well as some of these 6mm rounds. And I will be using some bead caps from my own stash, these flower-shaped bead caps, as well as the same spacers. Okay, so I've already started this this wire. So if you need a reminder on how to get started on this bracelet, you can always back up the video to the first strand. It's the same process. So we are going to start with a bicone bead at the very beginning, and we're going to have one bicone at the very end. And then on this first half, we're going to have a bead cap facing up, 6mm round, bead cap facing down. All right, and then we're just going to have the bead by itself. Go all the way to the other end and make sure that tail is tucked in to that first few beads. So just like that. Every other one is going to be encased in bead caps, just like this. We're going to repeat this 2.5 more times. And here we go. Here is one side. And as you can see, when you do every other bead with bead caps, of course, you still have that metal component in between each bead. So it looks really nice. So now this center component, we're going to be using the rock chip beads. So we're going to start with a rock chip bead and then spacer. And then rock chip, spacer. So just like this, back and forth 3 more times. All right, so here we go. Here is that center component with the rock chip beads. And now we're going to do this exact same thing that we've done at the beginning on the other side. All right, now here is that second bracelet completed. All right, so if you need a reminder on how to finish it off, then you can always go back to that the first bracelet. It is the exact same process. So here is bracelet number 2, on to the next one. All right, so here is that third bracelet. We will be using the 8mm violet quartz round beads. And then of course we are going to be using these coin beads in lavender. And then I will be using these bead caps from my own stash. And I just so often find that a really decorative bead cap or spacer can really just, not just add to the design, it can be a main part of the design. I love including, you know, decorative bead caps, decorative spacers. I just think that it can set off a bead that is beautiful on its own and just really highlight it and make it, you know, just that much better. So once again, I have already started this bracelet, and if you would need a reminder, go ahead and head back to that first bracelet. All right, so I will be using a coin bead, a spacer, and a coin bead. This is going to be how I begin and end each side. So I'm going to take it down to the end and tuck that tail in. And now everything in between is going to be a decorative back and forth. So here we go. Bead cap facing up, violet bead, bead cap facing down. And then coin bead. And it is going to be a back and forth just like this all the way across. Okay, so this bracelet is going to be a back and forth just like this all the way across. All right, so as I stated with the 2 coin beads, I ended it the same way with those 2 coin beads. And of course, in the middle, it was a very simple back and forth. So here is that 3rd bracelet. And if you need that reminder on how to close it off, as always, you can go back to that 1st strand. So here is the 3rd one, on to the next one. All right, and for the next bracelet, we are going to be using these lampwork glass flower bud beads in magenta. And I gotta tell you, right when I opened these which I will link that opening video below, I just thought these were gorgeous and I couldn't wait to use these beads. I love how it has almost an illusion like that clear glass on the outside with the color almost looking like it's trapped on the inside. I just think this is an absolutely beautiful bead. So we will be using these, and we will also be using the 10 millimeter pink quartz round beads. And then of course, the 9 millimeter 3-leaf chevron bead caps that came in the bead box. I just think these are so fun. These are very cool. And they fit these 10 millimeter beads perfectly. Okay, and then of course from my own stash, we will be using these pentagon style bead caps and these spacers that have the grooved edge on the side. They're kind of round, flat spacers. And these round beads here, I bought them in a set. It came with a strand of each one in different sizes, but it's the exact same bead in different sizes. And I find these beads to be pretty awesome to make sets of things, since it's the exact same style bead in different sizes. And of course, this is the pale pink color, which goes perfectly with the pink beads that came in this month's box. All right, so again, I've already started it. If you need help, head back to that 1st strand. It's the same process. So for this one, we're gonna start small on the outside, kind of work our way to the bigger beads in the middle, and then kind of work our way back down to the small beads on the other side. So here we go. We're gonna start with the small pale pink bead, spacer, small pale pink, spacer. And we're going to work our way down, make sure that tail is tucked in. All right, so here is the beginning. And now we're going to go into the next step, larger pale pink bead, spacer. We're going to use 3 of these with a spacer in between. All right, so as you can see, gradually getting bigger. Now we're going to get even bigger. Bead cap facing up. 10 millimeter pink round. Bead cap facing down. And then we're going to use one of the large pale pink beads. All right. So right now, this should be what we have. Okay. And then we're going to do another set of the pink like this one, the large 10 millimeter round. So we have bead cap facing up. 10 millimeter, bead cap facing down, and there we go. So this is one side right here. Now that center component, we're going to use the lampwork bead facing in like this. All right, and then the pentagon shaped bead cap with one of the largest pale pink beads, bead cap facing up right there, bead cap facing down, and then we're going to use the other lampwork bead facing the opposite direction. Okay, so here's what we have so far. Okay, so now, since this would be considered the center component, we're going to be doing this exact same thing that we did on this side on the other side. All right, so here is the next bracelet. I'm gonna go ahead and close it. All right, I love the way this one came out. I just love those lampwork beads. Very, very pretty. Okay, so again, if you need help on how to finish it off, you can always head back to that first bracelet in the video. So here is this one completed. On to the last one. Okay, and for the last bracelet, we're going to be using the other lampwork glass beads. These are the ones that were in lavender, same type of bead, just absolutely love them. And then, of course, the 8mm violet quartz beads, once again. And then the coin beads, of course, we've already seen the coin beads in lavender. We will also be using the ones that came in light lilac. Okay, and then from my own stash, we'll be using the same pentagon bead caps and spacers. Okay, so we've already begun this strand. If you need help, just head on back to that first strand. So we're going to be starting with a light lilac coin bead, spacer, another light lilac. Of course, we want to make sure it's all tucked in nice and neat. There we go. So here we go. This is how we're going to start off. Then we're going to go with another spacer. Right into the lavender. And we'll use 3 of these. All right, this is what we should have so far. Now we're going to go into the bead caps into the larger beads. So this is going to be similar where it starts small and then gets bigger and then goes back small. So bead cap facing up. 8mm violet bead, bead cap facing down. And then we're going to have a lavender coin bead in between, bead cap facing up, violet bead, bead cap facing down. All right, so here is one side. And then we're going to have that lamp work bead facing in like this. And then bead cap facing up, violet, bead, bead cap facing down. And I like how these bead caps kind of rest nicely in that lamp work bead. And now we're going to have the other lampwork bead facing the opposite direction. All right, so if we consider this part right here the center component, then we're going to be doing this side just like this in the opposite direction on this side. And we'll meet back up at the end. All right, here is the last bracelet completed. And again, if you need a reminder on how to finish it off, you can head back to that first strand. And there we go. I absolutely love these lampwork beads. I just think they are beautiful. So here is the last bracelet. So now I'm going to set up all the bracelets from this video in my display, and that way we can see them just a little bit better. All right, and here they are. I'm just so happy with how they came out. I think they are so beautiful. Particularly these lampwork beads. I absolutely love those beads. I think they are beautiful. And I gotta tell you, some projects are a little bit more difficult and a little bit more challenging, and some are just fun. And I think these bracelets were so fun to make. And I also love these toggle clasps. I think sometimes that, you know, a clasp can be more functional and kind of in the background where the beads and everything are highlighted. But I think sometimes like this, the clasp can be part of the design and, you know, part of the beauty of the jewelry piece. And I think that's what these toggle clasps do. I think these are absolutely beautiful and lend themselves to be part of the design of the bracelet. All right, so if you like this video and you would like to see other videos like this, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Give me a like. Leave a comment. What do you think of these bracelets? I absolutely love reading your comments. You guys are so kind, and you ask such intelligent questions. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.